Okay, for today we're gonna talk about the Lions and yeah, they're a train wreck, like a constant train wreck. What more do you want me to say? Oh, I have to go on? Really? For at least like 10 more minutes? Well, I don't need this to rant about the Lions, and sure don't need no script to rant about the Lions because that's like what I do on weekends. Actually, yeah, on weekends, Sundays, like every Sunday, it's just me and my dad watching the Lions and watching them either fall upwards and just barely winning a game, or just like the frustrating thing about the Lions is that they're competitive this year. Because like usually the Lions are easy to watch. They do terrible. We stop watching the first after the first half. Now they're doing no, they're competitive, so like we have to watch the whole game just to watch them lose. And it's frustrating, and it's clearly ownership because you can't go through that many head coaches and be that consistently terrible without it being ownership. Like when you're that bad for that long with multiple head coaches, it's probably ownership. Like, oh man, like it just seems like ownership is not invested in the Lions. Like they just see them as a stock that can go up and down, and like if it stays consistent and with profit margins, that's okay. See, like a lot of people don't like Jerry Jones. I understand why, because he acts like he's a coach when he's just the owner. But I appreciate if he was the Lions owner, I would appreciate him more because he seems invested, like he loves football and he wants to be a part of it. And this is not just some financial, this is not just, a financial, like, oh, this is an investment that I'll get this much money back. And, I don't really care what the team does as long as they're like competitive and people are watching, like that's all what the Lions are concerned with is being competitive enough for people to continue watching and buy their jerseys and give them hope for the next season when in actuality there is no hope because it's the Lions. Sorry, I'm just really excited and really mad to talk about this topic. And yeah, as a Lions fan, it's like an abusive relationship. The Lions do terrible or like just not make the playoffs, and you're like, oh man, I'm just done with the Lions. Then like around when the draft comes around, they're like, oh, it's gonna be different. We drafted these guys and we signed a bunch of New England Patriots, and it's gonna be different. But it never is. It's never gonna be different. It's like an abusive relationship. After they're done, like taking your money and you just keep coming back. Like every Lions fan, we just keep coming back, even though we keep thinking it's going to be different, but it's not going to be different. So we just should accept the abusive spouse that the Lions are. I'm just, oh my gosh. I feel like any parent that convinces their kid to be a Lions fan should be put in a mental home or something, because gosh, like what kind of like parent would put their kid through that much torture of being a Lions fan? Like I understand Browns, like when they fail, it's entertaining. It's like so entertaining that like a team can implode that easily. Another team that looks that way right now is the Dolphins. Like Dolphins, I watch Dolphins games sometimes because this year because it's just so hilarious on how much they're trying to tank and making it so obvious. Like, but the Lions is like, oh, they're actually trying. They're not trying to tank. They are trying to win, and they're just failing at it. Now, I'm not saying every loss is their fault. I mean, Green Bay and the Chiefs game, there were a couple bad calls, but like there's so many opportunities that we could have won those games, but we just, It just irks me. Like, we're just so close to winning, but we'll never make the changes to becoming a consistently winning team because the ownership does not care enough to make those kinds of moves. And it's just, oh my gosh. I wish we were back to 0-16 because that would be entertaining. At least it would be so bad it was good kind of thing. But now it's like the Lions are competitive, so like you watch the first, like when they're competitive, you have to watch the whole game, and because you think they might win, but they never do. Or if they do, it's just against some team that won't be above 500 by the end of the year. And oh my gosh, it's just I feel bad. I understand why Lions players retire early because they don't like dealing with this. Like Barry Sanders retired early, Calvin Johnson retired early. Like, it's like you got talent, but you're so inept on putting it all together that they will retire early because they're also frustrated. Oh my God. Like, a lot of people don't realize this, but Barry Sanders was so frustrated with the Lions that when he retired, he didn't even tell the Lions first. The first person he told was a newspaper in his local area where he was living at the time. It's like, how do you make someone that has played for you his entire career hate you that much because of your inability to find good talent, or at least be able to put it together? And oh my gosh, like, you think the Lions would be good on accident at some point? Like, even the Jaguars had a good season recently, like a couple years back, with Blake Bortles. I have a more accurate arm than Blake Bortles, and I'm terrible at throwing the football. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry that this is a rant, but if you're expecting some kind of deep analysis about the Lions, here's your deep analysis. They will never be good. They'll always be like average to below average. And man, I feel sad for like people that grew up loving the Lions and now are in their like 80s, about, later on in their life where, death is kind of closer and they still haven't won a Super Bowl. Like, that's going to be me. Like, they're not going to win a Super Bowl in my lifetime. Who am I kidding? Oh my gosh. If the Lions win a Super Bowl and then I die afterwards, in my grave, I want, like, in my coffin, I want like a plasma, like a small, like 4K TV playing that whole game on loop. So at least I know that the Lions won a Super Bowl, because that'd be a lifetime achievement. And like, we just can't put it together, even when we have like really good talent like Matthew Stafford or like Kerryon Johnson, and like even when we had Ndamukong Suh. Like, Ndamukong Suh is a terrible person, but he was a good defensive player. And thank God we didn't trade Slay. If we trade Slay, I would say, yeah, now we are trying to tank, but we didn't trade Slay, so I guess that's good news. Cool. You want a medal for not trading Slay? Man. We traded Diggs. Oh my gosh. Now, when we traded Golden Tate last year, I love Golden Tate as a wide receiver and as kind of a person. I follow him on Instagram and everything. But I'm kind of glad that we traded him last year, even though I was a little upset about it, because his contract was coming up, and he's going to go to a different team that will pay him, and we shouldn't pay a slot receiver that's not really good at beating guys deep that much money. And so in order to like still get something out of him, trade him for a pick to the Eagles. So at least we got that. So I understand that. And I'm happy for him with the Giants. He got paid a bunch of money, and he's probably going to retire there. And yeah, I'm happy for him. And that's really bad as a fan, where I'm happy for a player to leave my team because I just don't want them to suffer on a bad team anymore. That's really bad. Now, he's suffering with the Giants, but at least he's getting paid a lot more money there. Oh my gosh. Oh man. And by the way, a lot of people get upset when regular people talk about sports teams and we say we. Like, I'm like, oh, we gotta draft a quarterback, or we gotta do this, or we gotta do that, when you're not actually part of the team. And I understand why people are upset, but I have the right to, because I have suffered with the Lions more than most of those players, because those players can go somewhere else. I can't go anywhere else. I am now a Lions fan for life, and now I'm stuck with them. They are not stuck with the Lions. They can be traded. They can sign somewhere else in free agency. But no, I'm stuck with them. So I have the right to say we. So we, as the Lions, should do something about it. Oh my gosh. That was the least coherent thing I have said in a while. And that's really saying something, because most of the things I say are not coherent. But the Lions are just... It's like... It's like so frustrating, because you can see, like, right now they have a okay team right now, and if they had a better owner or a better GM, they would make the right moves to next year to be a playoff team, or even a Super Bowl contender. But that's not going to happen. We all know that's not going to happen. We know that even though we're having an okay season this year, they're not going to build off of it. We all know that. And sorry that this video has been mostly a rant, but what else are you supposed to do when talking about the Lions? Like, they're going to play the Raiders coming up, and I bet they'll either win that game or keep it competitive, and the Raiders just win it in the last minute. But yeah, no, it don't matter, because this video is going to be relevant forever, because the Lions will never get better. Like, oh my gosh. Well, I guess that's it for this video. My next video is probably going to be on the Vikings. I still don't know what to think about the Vikings, and we'll see how that goes. They are a good team. They just need to be more consistent. Unlike the Lions, where we're consistently bad most of the time. But, yeah, I guess that's it. Have a good day or something. I don't know. If you're a Lions fan, this video is useless to you, because I just restated everything that you have said while yelling about the Lions on Sunday afternoon. But, see you.